Shalom, Shalom Lakem, Kal Yashara'al. How's your peace, Israel? Welcome back to another video. And we're dealing with the topic at hand, which is the day of the Lord, i.e., Judgment Day. Okay? And we're going to pick it up in the book of Yoel, or Yoel, or Joel, chapter 2, verse 31. And it reads on this wise: The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great day and terrible day of the Lord come. Okay, that was the sun shall be turned into darkness before the great and terrible day of the Lord. Alright, we're going to pick up in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verses 14 to 18. And it reads on this wise: The great day of the Lord is near, near and coming quickly. The cry on the day of the Lord is bitter. The mighty warrior shouts his battle cry. That day will be a day of wrath, a day of distress and anguish, a day of trouble and ruin, a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and blackness, a day of trumpet and battle cry, against the fortified cities and against the corner towers. I will bring such distress on all people that they will grope about like those who are blind, because they have sinned against the Lord. Their blood will be poured out like dust, and their entrails like dung. Neither their silver nor their gold will be able to save them on the day of the Lord's wrath. In the fire of his jealousy, the whole earth will be consumed, for he will make a sudden end of all who live on the earth. That is the great day of the Lord is dear, a day of wrath. Okay? So we're now going to go into 2 Peter chapter 3 verses 10. And it reads on this wise: The day of the Lord will come like a thief. The heavens will disappear with a roar. The elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and everything done in it will be laid bare. Okay, that is the day of the Lord will come like a thief. A few more scriptures we've got. 1 Enoch chapter 1 verses 9. And it reads on this wise: And behold, he cometh with 10,000s of his holy ones, to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness, which they have ungodly committed, and of all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Okay, that it was, behold, he comes with 10,000 holy ones to execute judgment. Okay, that's also spoken about in the book of Jude, right? Anyone can go and read that. Jude is also the second witness of that statement that Enoch just mentioned. We're going to go into the second Baruch, chapter 30, verse 1 to 5. Okay. Chapter 30, verse 1 to 5. And it reads on this wise: And it will happen after these things, when the time of the appearance of the Anointed One has been fulfilled, he returns with splendor, that then all who sleep in hope of him will rise. And it will happen at that time that those treasuries will be opened in which the number of the souls of the righteous were kept. And they will go out, and the multitudes of the souls will appear together in one assemblage of one mind. And the first ones will enjoy themselves, and the last ones will not be sad. For they know that the time has come of which it is said that it is the end times. But the souls of the wicked will the more waste away when they shall see all these things. For they know that their torment has come, and their perditions have arrived. Okay, that was a description of tribulations leading to the day of the Lord. Last scripture, 4th Ezra chapter 13, verse 5 to 13. And it reads on this wise: And after this I looked, and behold, there was gathered together a multitude of men, without number, from the four winds of the earth, from the four winds of the heaven, to war against the man that came out of the sea. But I looked, and behold, he craved out for himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. but I tried to see the region of place, from which the great mountain was carved out, but I could not. And after this I looked, and behold, all they which were gathered together to wage war and subdue him were sore afraid, and yet dared to fight. And behold, as he saw the violent approach of the multitude, he neither lifted up his hands, nor held sword, nor any weapon of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it were a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and from his tongue he shot forth sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell on the onrushing multitude which was prepared to fight, and burning them all up, so they suddenly so that suddenly so that suddenly nothing was seen of the innumerable multitude, but only ash, dust, and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Afterwards saw I the same man come down from the mountain, and called to him another multitude which is peaceable. And there came many people to him, whereof some joyful, some sorry, and some of them bound, and some were bringing others as offerings. Okay. Now that actually matches up. Anyone who's read in the book of Zechariah, where it talks about the Messiah standing on Mount Olives, right? And it causes a huge uh, split. They're twain. They're split in two, and the children of Israel that are actually in the land at that time, they actually flee down the valley towards the Messiah. And that this what we just read here actually correlates, because there is going to be a battle of Jehoshaphat where the nations are going to be brought down into the valley of decision. And this is where the Mashiach is going to come back to save his saints. Right? Those that are already in the land, they're going to be there. Not these Jewish people. I'm talking about the children of Israel, the people that descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They're going to be in the land. And the Mashiach's going to come back to save these people. Right? I only hope that you bear witness to be one of them, the 144,000. And there are going to be those people there, right? Or at least part of the 104,000. They're going to be there in the land. And that's what the Mashiach here is coming back. He destroys the nations that come to make war. But afterwards, it says in verse 12, it says, afterwards saw I the same man come down from the mountain. Which mountain? Is it not Mount Olives, the one that he stands on when he first comes into the atmosphere of this world? And the mountains cleave in two. And he calls, and you read on Ezra's 13:12, it says, and I called to him another multitude which is peaceable. That is the same multitude that when you read in the book of Zechariah, it talks about them fleeing to the mountains that he just literally stood on. We are fleeing to him. We're in the land, and the nations are coming to make war with us. And in the time of our fear and turmoil, let's just say, because we're frightened, we don't have weapons of warfare. It says our weapons of warfare are not carnal, right? So we're in the land, in unwalled villages, as it talks about in the scriptures. We're trying to adhere to the instructions that the Father has provided, and the nations are coming against us because we're dwelling peacefully, as we just read here. It says, "Hi, him another multitude which is peaceable." We are that nation that is going to be dwelling in unwalled villages, and the Mashiach's going to come and save us from the nations coming to try to make war with his people, right? So when people talk about, is there any point of going to Israel, or the Messiah is going to gather us from the four corners? Yes, of course he's going to gather us from the four corners, because we're a large multitude. Not everyone is going to fit in that land straight away. We're not all going to be migrated to Israel. But there is going to be a remnant that's going to make it. And there already is a remnant of them that are already in the land already. There's just going to be more, and it's going to be more established. There's going to be, we're not going to have this issue of people being kicked out and all this sort of stuff. We're going to be there. Even if we're not wanted to be, because it talks about that as long as there are cities available in Israel, whenever they persecute us, we should keep moving to the next city. He says we will not complete all the cities or towns in Israel until the Mashiach comes. So that's already telling you the protocol. When we go back to the land, we're supposed to dwell in our unwalled villages, in booths, as we're learning in the Feast of Tabernacles. These holy days, they're not just there for just for laughters. Yeah, it's a nice gathering and things like that, but these things are meaningful. It's the same thing what we did when he came out of Egypt. We exodus, we left Egypt, and we're dwelling in booths. Do you not think this second Exodus is the same thing? Why do you think we'd have to adhere to Feast of Tabernacles? So every single person has a tent in their luggage. Because if we start to make aliyah or make some returning, they're not going to welcome us as well to give us homes and things like that. We need to be ready to live in the wilderness. But some people are not ready for this stuff. No, not many people are ready to deal with this stuff. Are you ready to stay in a tent 24/7? Are you though? That's the question. Some people think they want this lifestyle, but no, I don't think people are ready for it. They don't think that. I don't think people are. They're not ready for it. You dwell in a tent for 8 days. Well, I'm talking about you going and dwelling in a tent until the Mashiach comes. I don't think people are ready for it. And you claim you want to be 144,000, but you can't even sleep on the hard ground. Seriously, that's the difference between some people and others. People talk a good game, but when it comes down to the push comes to shove, and you actually have to do in this thing where you're living off bare minimum food. I'm talking about just bread. You're not getting your KFC and your Subways, and even though these are not even the greatest places, but your Wendy's, all these different places, you're not getting these foods. You're eating bread. That's your staple food. Sleeping in tents, waiting for Hamashiach, because that's the only righteous place that you can actually stay without having problems. You're still able to observe the Shabbat without anyone causing you difficulty. People think they're ready for this lifestyle. I don't think you are. You're really not. Because if you are, a lot of you wouldn't be too fearful to go back to the land and just dwell in those unruled villages as it is mentioned. You see? So I only hope the reader and listens to this word will be blessed by this. We were looking at the topic of the day of the Lord, Judgment Day. So may Yahweh bless you, may Yahweh keep you, may Yahweh cause his face to shine upon you, may Yahweh be gracious to you, may Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you, and may Yahweh grant you everlasting peace in Yeshua. Hamashiach's name I pray. Selah.